Hello, my name is Wendy Stein, and I am a special education curriculum specialist for grades kindergarten through sixth grade. I am so glad you could join me. In this lesson, we're going to learn about central message. Today's lesson will be determining the central message of a text. This is previously learned information that we have gone through over the course of this year. So what is the central message? The central message is a lesson that we learn from reading the story. The important pieces of information are called key details. Key details in a text help us find the central message or lesson of the story. The most common central message topics we seem to find include do your best, be nice to others, tell the truth, never give up, be a friend, and be brave. We all know the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Take a moment and think about the central message of this story. What is the lesson that Little Red Riding Hood has learned? So what was the lesson that Little Red Riding Hood learned? If you guess, do not talk to strangers, you're absolutely right. Because Little Red Riding Hood talked to the wolf in the forest, she was almost eaten. So the lesson that Little Red Riding Hood learned was not to talk to strangers. Sounds like good advice to me. Let's practice. We're going to read some short stories together and determine the central message. Remember to ask yourself as we're reading, what is the story trying to teach me? What does the author want me to take away from this story? What does the character learn? What is the central message of story number 1? Listen carefully as I read it to you. Danny saw his friends playing on the classroom iPad. He knew he wanted a turn. He decided to tell the boys that the teacher said it was his turn. The boys felt sad, but still gave Danny the iPad. The entire time Danny played on the iPad, he felt guilty for telling a lie. He went to the other boys and gave them the iPad. He also told them he was sorry for not being honest. What is the central message in this story? There are a few key details that kind of help us understand what the central message is. Let's look at them. In the story, it said that Danny felt guilty for telling a lie. He also told them that he was sorry for not being honest. Can you determine the central message of the text? Take a minute to think about the lesson that Danny has learned in the story before moving forward. Remember to ask yourself, what is the story trying to teach me? What does the author want me to take away from this story? What does Danny learn? Did you determine the central message of this story? Since Danny felt guilty for lying and had to say, I'm sorry for lying, the lesson must be, do not lie. Then you won't have guilt or have to apologize. Story 2. Jill had homework for math, reading, and writing. Her friends asked her to come over after school. Jill knew she really needed to do her homework, but she didn't want to miss out on playtime. Jill asked her mom if she could go to a friend's house. She asked if she had homework, but Jill said no. The next day at school, Jill got a detention because her homework was not finished. What is the central message of this story? Take a minute to think about the lesson that Jill has learned in the story before moving forward. Remember to ask yourself, what is the story trying to teach me? What does the author want me to take away from the story? What does Jill learn? Were you thinking what I was thinking? Jill got in trouble for not doing her homework. The lesson must be do your homework. Story 3. Ben knew the school rules on the playground. You were not supposed to hang from the monkey bars unless there was a teacher around. Ben wanted to impress his friends, though, so Ben decided to jump up and grab the monkey bars. As soon as he reached for the next monkey bar, his finger slipped and he fell to the ground. Ben heard a pop and felt a lot of pain in his arm. He knew it was broken. What is the central message of this story? Take a minute to think about the lesson Ben has learned in the story before moving forward. Remember to ask yourself, what is the story trying to teach me? What does the author want me to take away from the story? What does the character learn? Poor Ben. Well, I definitely learned a lesson from him. Always follow the rules. Did you get that one correct? I bet you did. Story number 4. Beth was trying out for the soccer team for the 5th time. She has tried out every year for the last 5 years, but she has never made it. Beth thought she would try again because she has been practicing a lot. At the soccer tryouts, she made a goal and dribbled the ball really well. The next day, she got a phone call saying that she made the team. Beth was so happy to be on the team. What is the central message of this story? Take a minute to think about the lesson that Beth has learned in the story before moving forward. Continue to ask yourself, what is the story trying to teach me? What does the author want me to take away from this story? What does the character learn? Next, I want you to share the story about Beth and discuss your answer with an adult. Tell them why you believe your answer is correct. Do you and the adult have the same answer? I'm sure you do. Thank you for watching as we learned about central message. You did a great job. Remember to keep watching other videos like this one so we can all keep learning together. You can watch lessons daily on STPPS TV or on our website at stpsb.org. See you again soon.
Hey everyone, my name is Ginger Morgan and I'm a 4th grade math and science teacher with St. Tammany Parish School System. I'm so glad you can join me today. Solar panels take in or absorb as much light from the sun as possible. In this case, the solar panels attached to the car were taking in all the sun and it transferred it into kinetic energy or energy in motion, which gave it the power to move. So that got me thinking. If light energy can be transferred to kinetic energy, can it also be transferred to different types of other energy? Let's say heat energy. So we're going to build a solar oven to test that question. We're going to see if light energy can be transferred to heat energy. In order to build our solar oven, you're going to need the following materials. So you're going to need a box of some type. It could be a shoe box, it could be a pizza box. I'm going to use a Cheez-It box. It could be a cereal box. Anything will really work. So you're going to need that. You're also going to need a piece of aluminum foil. You're going to need some dark paper. I have black construction paper. You could use a black cloth or a navy blue or something like that. You're going to need plastic wrap. So I have some plastic wrap here. Scissors and tape. And last but not least, actually not last but not least, we're going to need our items because we're actually going to be making s'mores in our oven. So you're going to need your things to make s'mores. And if you have one, it's great. But if you don't, an outside thermometer gauge. If you don't have one, you can just follow along and watch my temperature on mine. But if you do, that's great. So you're gonna need those material. Really important though, you need your parents' permission and also parent supervision while you're building this, because you're working with scissors and we want to be extra careful. So please make sure that you have your parents' permission and supervision while you're building this. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we have our materials. The first thing that you're going to do is take your box, whatever box you're using, take a pen or marker or pencil and just draw a square on the top of your box. Okay, just draw a square. Then you're going to have a parent take scissors and you're going to cut 3 of the lines, because we don't want a hole there, we just want a flap. I've already done mine. So after you cut it, you should have a flap like this. So it's still connected on that one side. All right, so that's your first step. The second thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take our aluminum foil and we're gonna put it in 2 different spots. I lined the inside of my box with aluminum foil, okay? And then you're gonna take some more and you're gonna place it on the flap itself. So we'll do that now. And you wanna try to keep the aluminum foil as smooth as possible. As we're doing this, I want you to kind of also think why we're using the materials that we're using. So why are we using aluminum foil? Why are we using the black or dark material? Okay, so I have my aluminum foil on my flap like so. All right, the next thing that you want to do is take your dark material. I cut mine a little bit smaller, and you're going to place this in the inside of your box. I'm actually going to tape mine down. This is where this s'more is going to be. You're going to place the s'more. So it really doesn't need to be, I mean, depending on the size of your box and depending on how many s'mores you're making, it just needs to kind of fit that. Okay, so I have my piece of black paper in there and my flap. I'm gonna go ahead and close this side of my box. All right, so I have my box with my flap of foil. Inside is lined with foil with my black material right there. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we are going to take our thermometer and we're gonna place it inside, because we're actually gonna be testing the difference in the temperature inside the box versus outside the box. So you want that to stay in there. Again, if you don't have it, just follow along and use mine. And then we put our graham cracker and build our s'more, marshmallow. Okay, and so that's gonna sit in there like that. Okay, so I have my thermometer and my s'more. And then the last thing that we're gonna do is take that cling wrap and we're gonna cover the hole that we had. And you want to tape that down. You want it to be tight and use your tape to secure it down. All right, so as we're doing this, let's talk about light energy for a second. So light energy behaves in several ways, right? It can be absorbed, light energy, which means it takes in as much light as possible. Think of a sponge taking in all that water and hold it in, right? So light energy can be absorbed. Light energy can be reflected, meaning, right, think of a mirror image, something is reflecting back at you, and it hits that object and bounces back, right? It's being reflected. And light energy can also be refracted, meaning almost looks bent. It's traveling through different materials at different speeds, so it looks like an object is being bent. So keeping that in mind, a second ago I asked you what's the purpose of the aluminum foil, what's the purpose of the black paper. So knowing how light energy behaves, what do you think the purpose of using the aluminum foil is? Is it for light to be reflected, absorbed, refracted? Right? It's shiny, so it's for the light to be reflected off of it. So what do you think the purpose of the dark paper was? It's for the light to be absorbed. Good. All right, so the last thing that we're gonna do is we want to keep our flap open at a 90-degree angle. So just kind of put it a right angle, right, 90 degrees, and I'm gonna use tape to secure it down at a 90-degree angle. That didn't work. We'll try again. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm all ready. I have my plastic wrap all taped down. I have my thermometer inside and my s'more in there. So let's go outside and get started. All right, guys, we are outside. We have our solar oven in the direct sunlight. Outside, the temperature currently is 73 degrees, and inside our solar oven, we can see that it is well past 73 degrees. It is already, looks like at 120 degrees inside our solar oven. All right, so we're going to record that temperature, then we're going to wait 15 to 20 minutes, and we're going to check back to see how the temperature has changed and see how our s'more has developed and cooked. All right, guys, it's been 20 minutes since I first put our solar oven outside. If you remember, it was 73 degrees outside, and inside the box was reading right at 120 degrees. It's still 73 outside 20 minutes later, but inside the box, inside our solar oven, it is reading well past 120 degrees outside. Let's think back to our original question. Can light energy be transferred to heat energy? Well, what do you think? Yes, absolutely. Our oven got a lot hotter inside versus outside. That's because of the materials that we used. The aluminum foil reflected all the light energy, the black paper absorbed all that light energy, and that plastic wrap contained or trapped all of the heat inside. Remember, energy can never be destroyed. It can only change forms and turn into different types of energy or transfer into different types of energy. All right, now what you've all been waiting for, it's time to enjoy your s'mores. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you can watch daily lessons on STPPS TV or on our website. Everyone stay safe, and I really hope to see everyone soon. Bye.
I'm Miss Wolf, one of the third grade teachers in St. Tammany Parish, and today we're going to talk a little bit about economics and how our current situation is affecting our community. I want to start off our lesson with our essential question. How do producers and consumers depend on each other? So we're going to start with some of our terms that we want to become familiar with. So what are goods? Goods are physical things such as clothes, toys, strawberries, computers, and cars, and most goods will cost you money. Services are jobs provided by people. Some examples: doctors, farmers, firefighters, hairstylists, and bus drivers. All of these people provide a service to the people in our community based on what they need or what they want. Up next, we have producers and consumers. A producer is someone who makes or provides a good or service. A consumer is a person who buys goods and services. So when we think consumer, you want to think customer. How about supply and demand? Supply is a measure of how much there is of a good or service. If there isn't enough of something available, there's going to be a scarcity. However, if there is more than what is necessary, if there is extra of something available, then there's going to be a surplus. Demand is a measure of how much people need or want a good or service. So supply and demand, the prices are based on supply and demand. When supply is low but the demand is high, the prices are going to go up. So an example for this would be that everyone needs hand sanitizer right now, but not many stores have it available. The supply of hand sanitizer might be really low, but the demand is really high. So the price for hand sanitizer might be more expensive. It might go up at this time. When the supply is high and the demand is low, the prices will go down. So an example for this, there might be a high supply of corn available at farms, but there might not be a big demand for it. So farmers might have to lower the price of corn in order to sell it to the people in their community. So let's review over our central question one more time together. How do producers and consumers depend on each other? So we're gonna go ahead, we'll take a virtual field trip to Miss Heather's strawberry farm, where Miss Hubble and Miss Shoemake will talk more about our essential question. See you there.
Hi boys and girls, I'm Miss Shoemake and I'm also a third grade teacher with St. Tammany Parish School System. I'm on location here at Miss Heather's strawberry farm and I wish you could smell these sweet, fresh strawberries. They smell amazing. Now, Miss Wolf has taught you some important words having to do with the economy. Let's learn what some of those ideas look like in real life so that we can understand them a little bit better. Now, I came here today to pick strawberries. Do you think a strawberry would be a good or a service? Yes, great. Since I can hold this strawberry, then I know that it's a good. Now, Miss Heather also provides a service. Some of you may have been here with your school or with your family, and Miss Heather loves teaching kids and families about growing strawberries. Teaching is a service. I have another question for you. I plan on buying some strawberries today, so would that make me a consumer or a producer? Yes, you're right. That would make me a consumer. Now, Miss Heather grows the strawberries that I need to pick. So would that make Miss Heather a consumer or a producer? Exactly, yes, she is a producer. We depend on each other to provide what each other needs. I depend on Miss Heather to produce the strawberries for my family. Miss Heather depends on me to come and purchase the strawberries as a consumer or the customer. The strawberries are her good that she provides. Now, I'm going to go finish picking my strawberries, but Miss Hubble and Miss Heather are here with me today. They are going to talk to you more about the relationship between consumers and producers, and then you are going to have a chance to help us solve a problem. See ya.
Thanks, Miss Shoemake. Hey, everybody. I'm Miss Hubble. I'm also a third grade teacher with St. Tammany Parish Schools, and we are here with Miss Heather from Miss Heather's Strawberry Patch. Thank you so much for having us and talking to us today. We want to, first of all, thank you for being a producer of such beautiful strawberries and allowing consumers like myself and Miss Shoemake to come out and pick your beautiful strawberries. Thank you. Wanted to ask you a couple of questions though. Prior to this current situation, how did you typically get your consumers to come out and pick your strawberries?
Well, we're a U-Pick farm, and it's really called ag tourism. And we have children, school kids that come and they pick. We have between 10 and 15,000 children that usually come every year. I do a story time with them where we go through the different stages of growing strawberries. And then I talk about all the things that they can do with their strawberries when they take them home, how different ways that they can eat them. And then they get to go and pick strawberries.
Wonderful. Well, these past couple of months with us having to stay home, how have you gotten the word out about your surplus of strawberries since everybody was at home?
Well, that was a heart-wrencher one. You know, knowing that we was going to have to take, and we call it peddling, have to get them out there and get them sold. So we were taking and we were picking between 100 to 150 flats a day. And we was going to different places, different parking lots, different towns, and selling them. We would post on Facebook that I was going to be in this location and let people know, and they would come and meet us to sell them.
By word of mouth. Fantastic. Wonderful. Well, now it's my turn to go pick some strawberries, but before I do, I'm going to go turn you over to Miss Pequeno, who's going to have a little challenge for you. We need you to help her solve a problem. Hey, Miss Shoemake, wait for me. Don't pick all those strawberries.
Now that we've heard from Miss Shoemake and Miss Hubble over at Heather's farm, I have a challenge for you. We know Miss Heather is having a hard time getting her products to consumers during this current situation. I'm going to help you write a paragraph about how Miss Heather can get her product to consumers. First, let's take a look at the important parts of a paragraph. When writing a paragraph, you always want to start out with a topic sentence. This will help introduce the topic and you can restate your problem. Next, you're going to come up with a detail 1, detail 2, and detail 3. These 3 details are going to help support your topic sentence. Finally, you're going to write a closing sentence. This will close the paragraph. It can either be a restate, a hope, a wish, or a question. Now, go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a pencil. Let's get started. Don't forget to indent. For my topic sentence, I chose to restate the problem. There are many ways Miss Heather can get her surplus of product to consumers during this time. If you would like, you can copy mine, or if you want a challenge, you can come up with a topic sentence of your own. Now, let's go ahead and come up with our first detail. One way is, you could say, one way is that Miss Heather can have virtual field trips. Miss Heather would be providing both a good, the strawberries, and a service by teaching students about her strawberry farm. That's just an example. You can write that one, or you can come up with one on your own. Next, let's write our second detail. My second idea is, this time I challenge you to come up with one all by yourself. Now let's write our third detail. Some transition words you may want to use are lastly, finally. My third detail is, I chose to use finally. Go ahead and fill in the rest of the sentence on your own. Now it's time to write our closing sentence. Your closing sentence ends and closes the paragraph. I chose to come up with a question. That way, when your friends and your family are reading this paragraph, we are challenging them to come up with some ideas of their own. So let's say, how can you help other producers sell their products? If you would like, you can come up with your own closing sentence. Now, check over your paragraph and don't forget to share with someone. Thank you for watching as we learned about economics. You did a great job. Remember to keep watching videos like this one so we can keep learning together. Thank you.
Hi, this is Ms. Pellegrin, and I am a St. Tammany Parish public school teacher. I teach 7th grade math. Today, we're going to be looking at some different shapes, some three-dimensional shapes. The reason for this is because we're going to be looking at volume later on, and we need to understand about the bases of these three-dimensional shapes so that we are able to use the formula volume is equal to big B times H later on. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to look at the definition of base. The definition of base is the surface a solid object stands on, or what is considered to be the bottom. Next is a prism made up of parallel bases and rectangular side bases. And finally, pyramid has one base and triangular side bases which meet up at a central point. Okay, so looking at those definitions, we are going to be determining whether these shapes are prisms or if they are pyramids. So the first shape that we are going to look at is this shape right here. Can anybody tell me what shape this is? If you guess that it's a prism, you are correct. If you guess that it's a rectangle, it does have rectangular faces. However, it's a three-dimensional shape,
And so three-dimensional shapes are not considered a rectangle. That is a two-dimensional shape. So this shape is a rectangular prism. So let's look at why it falls in that category of prism. Parallel bases. Okay, so if I'm looking at it like this, here's a base sitting at the bottom, and here's a base. And they are parallel to each other. They are never going to intersect. And then it has rectangular side faces. So everything on the sides are rectangles. Even though that these are actually squares, it still falls under that same category as a prism. So we would call this a rectangular prism. So then, if we were to look at this shape, do you think it is a prism or a pyramid? If you said prism, you are correct. We technically call this shape a cube because all of the sides are squares, but it still has parallel bases. And remember, we're focusing on a base. So even no matter which way I turn this, it still has a square base that is parallel to another square. Just like in this shape, we have rectangles that are parallel to each other. The squares are parallel to each other. So the base is a rectangle. We name our shapes by that shape. Sorry, by that base, not that shape. Shape of the base. Okay, so the next shape that we're going to look at, pyramid or prism. Good, it is a pyramid. Triangular side faces, so it has those triangular side faces that meet up to a point, and it has one base, so this is our base. So we name our shapes based on the base. So what shape is this? Good, it is a square. So we would call this a square pyramid because of those triangular faces. So our next shape. Do you think that it is a prism or a pyramid? Good, it is a prism. So let's see why. Parallel bases. Okay, well if I put it like this on the rectangle, there's not a parallel base to that. There's not another rectangle that is running parallel that won't run into it, no matter which one that I put it on as the bottom. However, if I turn it this way to have my triangle at the bottom, then I have a triangle at the top and they run parallel to where they would never run into each other. So our base of this shape, no matter which way you may see it on a worksheet or anything else, the base is a triangle. So what would we call this shape? Good, we would call it a triangular prism. Okay, so our next shape. Pyramid or prism? Good, it is a pyramid. It is coming to a point, those triangular faces are coming to a point, and then we have that one base. So this is our base, that's where our name is coming from. And so what shape do we have there? Good, that is a triangle. So what kind of shape is this? What three-dimensional shape is this? Good, it is a triangular pyramid. Okay, next shape. Prism, pyramid. Good, it is a prism. Why? We have all of the rectangular faces, and then right here and right here are parallel bases. So where does our name come from? Good, it comes from the base, so you need to see what shape that base is. Does anybody know what shape this base is? Good, it is a pentagon because it has 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we would call this a pentagonal prism.
Next, Prism Pyramid. Good, it is a pyramid. It comes to a point, that point we call a vertex, and it has one base. And what shape is that base? Good, it's another pentagon. And so therefore we call it a pentagonal pyramid. So if you're noticing, we had a pentagonal prism and a pentagonal pyramid. Okay, our next shape, prism pyramid. Good, it is a prism. It has those rectangular side faces, and then at the bottom and the top, these are our two bases that never collide. They are parallel to each other. So let's check out what shape that is so we can name this. Does anybody know what shape that is? Good, it's a hexagon. It has 6 sides. So it's a hexagonal prism. And our last shape, prism or pyramid. Good, it is a pyramid. It is coming to a point with those triangular faces, and there's that one base, and its shape is a hexagon. Awesome. And so it is a hexagonal pyramid. Okay, so that concludes all of our shapes for today that we're going to talk about. Let's look at them one more time. So we have all of our pyramids here that are coming to a point, and then all of our prisms here that have a specific shape as their base. Thanks for joining. I hope that you tune in to St. Tammany Parish School Board in order to check out other learning resources and keep up with all of your learning. Have a great day.
Hello students, I am Coach Gonzalez from St. Tammany Parish Schools. I'm here to share a workout with you that you can do during this time while you're staying safe. You can do it at home and only at home with the people in your household. So can you go get your friend down the street? No. Can you get your mom or dad from in the living room? Yes. Okay, so you're doing it in your household where you're staying safe. Now, I'm also going to talk about setting a goal for yourself, because I have the beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels of this little exercise routine that you can perform on your own. So I'm going to demonstrate the exercise, then we're going to do it together, and then you're going to do it at home by yourself or with anyone in your household. So for the beginner level of the workout, you're going to do 1 of the first exercise, 2 of the second exercise, 3 of the third exercise, 4 of the fourth exercise, 5 of the fifth exercise, and all the way down to 10, because there are 10 exercises that you can work on at home for this week. By next week, I'll have another workout and you can decide if you're going to start at the beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Okay, so for the intermediate workout, which is probably people that aren't quite athletes but have, been exercising a little bit, like going to PE and like performing the exercises and working out, they're going to do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it would be 5 of the first exercise, 10 of the second exercise, 15 of the third, 20 of the fourth, all the way down for 10 exercises where you would be doing 50 of the 10th exercise. So this is 1s, 5s, and 10s. So in the advanced, the athletes could do 10 of the first exercise, 20 of the second exercise, 30 of the third exercise, 40 of the fourth exercise, all the way down to 100 of the 10th exercise. Now, you can also do this little exercise, workout routine, PE workout, whatever you would like to call this that I'm giving you today. You can do it in the morning and you can do it in the evening. So if you do the intermediate in the morning and you find you still have lots of energy, maybe you want to try the advanced. Maybe you want to stay in the beginner level for the first 4 times you do this little routine, and then move to the intermediate and then move to the advanced. If you started out in the advanced, what could you do? You could do it, if you're doing it twice a day, maybe do it 3 times a day. It probably is about, it might take some of you 10 minutes to complete it. It might take some of you 20 minutes. Everybody is different. We're not all built the same when it comes to exercise and athletics. So I just want to share something that you can do at home, something to keep you busy, and something that you can share with the people in your household. So I'm going to demonstrate the exercise, then we're going to do it together, and then you're going to be on your own because you're going to practice this at home. Okay, the first exercise is a push-up. So the push-up, you want to make sure your hands are right underneath your shoulders and your chest is going to the ground. So chest down, okay, and you push up. If that's too hard, you can drop to your knees. You can make sure that your buttocks is tucked under and you bring your chest to the ground. If that is still too hard, you can come onto all fours and you can just bend your elbows and bring your chest to the ground. All right, so you do whatever level is for you. Now, let's try those together. All right, let's everyone up on your toes. Make sure your hands are under your shoulders and you're going to put your chest to the ground and push up. All right, if that was too hard, try the other level. To drop to your knees. That one was too hard. Try coming on all fours, knees on the ground, hands on the ground, and just bend at the elbows. All right, now you're going to do that on your own, either after I'm done demonstrating everything or tonight with everyone in your household. Okay, next is the burpee. So the burpee is kind of like a squat thrust, or like it's a squat with a push-up. So you're going to bend down, you're going to lay on the ground, put your chest on the ground, then you're going to push yourself back up, come to your feet, and jump up. All right, if that's too hard, you can do an easier version. Squat down, hands on the ground, push your feet back behind you, pull your feet back in, and jump up. All right, now let's try one together. We'll try it both ways. Okay, squat down, chest to the ground, jump up. Woo! All right, now we're going to try the easier version together. Squat down, push your legs out, pull them back in, jump up high. That's called a burpee. All right, so remember 1, 5, or 20 of those. And of course, you can take a break in between the exercises, but try to just take like 10 seconds between each one. Then we have sit-ups. Now, a sit-up, we're going to do them with our legs straight. So you're going to touch your toes. You are going to bring your hands back behind your head, and you're going to sit up and touch your toes. Go back, sit up, touch your toes. Now, if that's too hard, you can bend your knees, go back, and pull up. All right, now let's try that together. Touch your toes, bring your hands behind your head, and bring yourself up. Perfect. Now we're going to do lunges. So for lunges, it's either 4, 20, or 40. So for a lunge, you want to make sure that your knees are at 90 degrees. This is 90, okay? So you want to make sure that your knees are behind your toes. So you can't go here like this because then my knee is over my toe. So you need to step far out So when you bend down, your knee doesn't go over your toe. So that's how we do a lunge. So you step out, bend down, this knee's at 90, this knee is at 90, and your back is straight, and push back. All right, so you have to do 40 of those, so that would be 20 for each leg. If you're doing the 20, it'd be 10 for each leg, and if you're doing 4, 2 for each leg. So let's try that together. So we'll go a little bit faster. All the way out, push back. All the way out, make sure everything's at 90 and push back. All right, now you have the lunge. Number 5 is windmills. So for a windmill, you're going to spread your feet apart, about hip width apart or shoulder width apart, and put your arms out to your side. Don't let them droop down below your shoulders, or don't have them up by your ears. Try to have them straight out. And then you're going to twist to the right. Hand is going to go over to the left foot and then back up. Then you take your left hand over to the right foot and back up. So you can do that fast. That means you're going to get your heart rate up as you're moving. All right, I showed you how to do it. Now let's try that together. Now, if you can't bend down and touch your toes, you could just bend over and go outside of your knee. All right, so let's try it. Touch your toe, touch your toe. Touch your knee, touch right outside your knee. I think y'all got it. Good job. That's a windmill. Then we have jumping jacks. Oh, I know that's one of y'all's favorites in PE, right? So a jumping jack, you're going to stand straight with your hands by your side. Your arms are going to go up while your feet are spread apart. Then you're going to bring your arms down while you're closing your feet. So open the legs, arms up. Close the legs, arm down. So everything, arms up, feet spread apart, feet together, arms down. Fast motion. All right, let's try that together in slow motion. Feet apart, arms up, feet together, arms down. Now let's speed that up. Woo! And we would do 60. And that would be 1, 2. Every time your arms go up, that's when you count. Got that? I know y'all wouldn't want to only do 30. You would want to do all 60. Okay, but remember, the intermediate is only 30, and the beginners are doing 6. And there is no shame in being a beginner and intermediate before you become advanced, because not everyone has always been exercising. Some people are exercising for the first time. That's why I'm teaching this to you now, so you can start working on it and setting a goal for yourself as to where you want to be. All right, for number 7, bird planks. All right, so you come onto all fours. Then you're going to push your right arm out and your right leg out. Just like that. Then the opposite would be the right arm out with the left leg out. So you just keep switching. It's opposite arm, opposite leg. You want to make sure that your hands are right underneath your shoulders. Your knees are at 90. Your back is straight. Okay, you want to make sure you keep your head tucked. Don't keep your head up. That's bad for your neck. So keep your head tucked. Opposite arm, opposite leg. All right, let's try that together. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Now, if that is too hard, you can always come to the ground, and you could lay on the ground and lift your left arm, right leg, right arm, left leg. Go ahead and try this one with me. Perfect. That's called the Superman, but you can do the Superman if the bird plank is too hard. Now, skaters. That's kind of like you're skating in your own living room, garage, wherever you are. So, you're going to go over to the side and back. So, you're going to take your left leg is planted, right leg behind it. You're going to reach across your body, and the opposite. If your left foot is in front, your right hand is touching the ground. So then you would step over, and your left leg would go behind your right, and your left hand would go touching the right foot. Okay, so speed it up a little bit. So basically you're taking one leg behind the other and bending down and touching the ground. So you can do that in fast motion or you can do it in slow. All right, let's try that together. So we're going to step to the left, step left, right foot back, touch the ground. Step right, left foot back, touch the ground. And if you don't do it perfect, it doesn't matter, because the most important thing is that you're moving, you're getting your heart rate up, and you're feeling like your body is tired. Okay, that's skaters. So, here we are with jumping jacks again. Woo! I put jumping jacks in there twice because those are one of my favorites. But I wanted to also give some people who don't want to do jumping jacks again an alternative. So here's the jumping jack, which we've already done. Now, if you want something a little bit different, you can do the plank jacks. So you're going to come in the plank position. These are a little bit harder because you're working your core, because you're in this plank position, which is kind of tough on your shoulders and on your tummies. So you're going to bring your legs out and in, out and in, out and in. It's like doing a jumping jack without moving the hands. But this routine does call for a regular jumping jack, but that's something that you can substitute in there if you want something a little bit different. So you could do plank jacks, jumping jacks, or let's do it together. Everybody ready? Plank jacks. All right, and for the last exercise, it's going to be knee lifts, or if you want to go ramp it up a little bit, you can do high knees and you can make it running in place. So, knee lifts would be like this, or run in place would be like this. And you're going to do 100 of those if you're doing the advanced version. The intermediate is 50 and the beginner is 10. So what I would like you to work on is try 1 through 10 of all the exercises, assess where you're at, which means how do you feel? Was that too easy? Was that too hard? Do you need more? Do you need less? If you need more, you move to the intermediate level. If you need less, you stick with this one until it becomes a little bit easier, because the more you do something over and over, the easier it becomes. Just like math. Whenever you do your multiplication tables and you practice them, you learn them and they become easier. You know them like that. It's the same with exercise. So, I hope that some of you will do this exercise at home on your own and set a timer. See how long it takes you. Set your goal not only to see what level and how many times you can do it a day, but how many minutes does it take you to finish the routine. The first time, and then maybe the 5th time that you do it. But stay tuned, because I'll be back with more. Have a great day. Happy exercise.